Damian Lillard is staying in Portland, but after almost a year out injured, just what level of performance can we expect from Dame as a member of Rip City 2.0?
Do we think that Lillard is going to come back 100%? Does he need to?
I think we get the 26-7 Dame that's lights out from three and dominates in the clutch. I think that's all we need. We don't need him to be averaging 30 a game or anything like that. I think thankfully, the likes of Simons have developed while he's been down. You think maybe Shaden Sharp, if he adjusts early, might be able to add just a little bit. Josh Hart will add some. Grant is obviously going to add some. Hopefully, we'll get some more shooting out of this year little. So he doesn't have to come and be like superhuman Dame that he has been in the past, but he's still gonna have to be Dame time, Mr. Clutch, you know?
Yeah, we need him to be all NBA Dame. That's if he comes back and looks a step slow, they don't have any hope for anything. I mean, everything, this is all built towards him being successful. And does this feel like a better roster than he's had in recent memory? Like, is this a more complete roster than he's had before?
I think so. I just the fact that it felt like they were going into a rebuild, and now this has just come together so quickly. It's pretty impressive. They've filled a couple of important gaps that they've been missing for a number of years, and if they're able to find some cheap deals out there to get a bit more front court depth, this is a really good roster around Dame, and something we probably haven't seen even with all the success that they've had down the years.
Yeah, it certainly feels like it. And I think probably the biggest thing is just how much wing depth they have now. And that's it feels weird to say, like including Nasir Little in that, but I actually really do believe in his development. Just look at how much better he played in the second half of last year. I mean, even approaching 35% from three. I mean, if he can get his numbers up past 35%, I don't think he'll ever be a 40% three-point shooter, but allowing him to play some role offensively, his defense is going to be massive. But I don't know. I can't help but feeling really hopeful for this team. I can't help but feel like they're more geared towards success than they have been before, just from the defensive end. And we always go around these conversations about coaching impact and things like that. But now that you actually have a team that has defensive weapons, you have a return of your star, you have a young player like Anthony Simons who can prove he can put a lot more on his shoulders, growing players. There's going to be a lot of ways to evaluate whether Chancey Phillips is a good coach in this league or not this season. You know, he had his first season last year, which there wasn't a lot to expect from, the roster he was given. But, you have burgeoning young players. Can they continue to develop under your tutelage? Can you have good defenders? Can you put together a good defensive system with the kind of defenders you have? Can you make a system that still works with, a guy that we expect to be a top 10 offensive player in this league? There's a lot of expectations around Billups now that there's a legitimate team around their superstars decided to stay there. And that's probably going to be the thing to watch throughout the season is things are going to hinge on whether or not people think he's doing well. Maybe there's a player thing, but it's going to come down to whether people think Chauncey Billups is doing a good job or not.
Yeah, it's almost like the flick of a switch that he's gone from basically being under no pressure in year one to really having the almost lighting a fire up his ass by the acquisitions that they've made and the return of Dame. But you have to hope that he has the ability to adjust to that. That's why the Blazers hired him in the first place. They didn't hire him thinking this is a rebuilding team that are gonna struggle for a few years. They hired him knowing that they're a team wanting to go and compete. Thanks for joining us on today's episode of Coast to Coast. Don't forget to hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at Coast to Coast NBA Podcast to hear your takes discussed right here on the show. And remember, take every shot and love every moment.